This video will be summarizing the final side story bundled with volume 27 of the rezero light novel. I have summaries for the other side stories on my channel which focuses on Rem and Emilia respectively. This side story will focus on Todd. Big thank you to Kaiser Randall for commissioning this and Paper Kaminari for translating it. A link to the translation will be in the pinned comment if you would like to read it yourself. Anyways, let's begin. The story begins with Jamal slashing and wounding the Elgina witch beast. The slash was powerful enough to rip off its scales, and Jamal was covered in the witch beast's blood. We see that Jamal is pretty much soloing the witch beast, and whilst Jamal is distracting the snake, Todd prepares his comrades to volley arrows at the snake witch beast. As the arrows fly towards Jamal and the witch beast, Jamal has to parry the arrows away and also keep the Elgina from attacking him, so he's essentially doing both at once. Of course, Todd had no intention of hitting Jamal with the volley of arrows, but it was something that had to be done to damage and distract the Elgina witch beast. As the snake was pierced by the raining arrows, Jamal then delivered a killing blow by cutting off its head. We see that Todd and Jamal's group suffered no casualties. Todd praised Jamal for his effort, and Jamal was of course confused as to why he was the only one fighting the witch beast alone. It was apparent from this skirmish that Jamal was simply too powerful. The Imperial soldiers with them were strong, but Jamal was essentially in a class of his own. No one else could keep up with him. As Jamal pressed for an answer, Todd stated that the other soldiers hesitated due to their lack of experience with witch beasts. Jamal laments about what would have happened if he wasn't present, before finally muttering that the boy escaped, only for Todd to give a wordless shrug to confirm Jamal's statement. We see that Todd's full name is Todd Fang. He's reflecting over the incident that has transpired and came to the conclusion that due to the rarity of witch beasts in Wallachia, the weird circumstances surrounding Subaru, the appearance of the witch beast must have been orchestrated by Subaru himself. Jamal lamented that Subaru escaped. He further states that he will track down Subaru and the people of the Shadrakian tribe and then eliminate all of them when he finds them. However, like usual, Todd reins Jamal back by saying to not rush ahead or else he will get caught in a trap. With that, Todd advises Jamal to wash the blood off his body. After all, witch beasts can have poison, so Todd advises Jamal to wash it off just in case. Once Jamal realizes the risk, he heads to a nearby waterfall and attempts to wash off the blood. As Jamal walks away, Todd does state that he will speak to the rest of the group and decide on what they need to do next. Todd then proceeds to bend down and observe the dead witch beast, analyzing its fangs, scales and horn. However, he is interrupted by his comrades, asking him to stop messing around with the corpse and focus on what to do next. However, Todd rebukes him, stating that if there's a chance Subaru can control witch beasts, they need to investigate the corpse to find an area of weakness. Someone like Jamal can solo the witch beast, however for people like Todd and the others, they need a plan and strategy. The Imperial soldiers that gathered around Todd questioned the possibility of the boy being able to control witch beasts. However, Todd reiterates the strange circumstances around the boy, such as the fact that he was waiting for something to happen and then immediately as soon as the Elgina appeared, the boy ran away, almost as if he was expecting it to happen. Todd again reiterates to be safe, they need to assume that if they rush to find the boy, that they may be attacked by numerous witch beasts, so they need a plan. Todd also states that the boy and the people of Shadrak are hostile to them, so they gained some information. Todd continues, stating that since none of them died to the ambush, it was actually a victory for them. As the group discuss on their next actions, Todd gives them a leather bag filled with water and tells them to hydrate themselves since they're going to depart shortly. Todd then faces the dead Elgina corpse on the floor and asks about the potential of using parts of the witch beast for medicine or weaponry, or the fact that you can sell it for a decent amount of gold. One of the soldiers states that he isn't really interested in selling the corpse for money. However, as he's doing that, he stutters and he collapses. However, that soldier wasn't the only person to collapse. All of the soldiers around Todd started collapsing. The soldiers realized that the water they all drank from tasted bitter and weird. Todd then took the water bottle that the soldiers drank from and pierced it with a knife. As the water bottle drained of liquid, the liquid's color was not clear. It was actually red tinted instead. The soldiers were poisoned. Todd states that there's a poisonous pouch at the root of the Elgina's fang, and he's happy that he found out that piece of information. As the soldiers around him are struggling to breathe, they try and ask him why he did it, but they couldn't utter out the words. Unfortunately though, since the witch beast's poison was watered down, the soldiers wouldn't actually die from the poison alone. So Todd picked up his axe and started killing the soldiers one by one as they lay on the floor struggling to breathe. Todd also stated that he had no intention of telling them why he did it. The scene changes and we see Todd appear from some bushes. He appeared alongside Jamal, who was washing off the blood on his body. Todd notes the difficulty that Jamal is having washing the blood off, and of course Jamal starts getting angry, as he of course realizes the blood is sticky and is not coming off. Todd states that Jamal will be fine with the blood on him and that they should go to the city of Guaral instead of going back to the Valakian encampment. They will also report that their operation failed. Jamal is confused after hearing this and states that they should go after the boy and the people should truck. Jamal was getting angry, but Todd explains the situation, asking Jamal to think. Todd opens the possibility of Subaru controlling witch beasts and using them to attack the Valakian encampment. Since everyone isn't strong as Jamal, they would struggle. Jamal is confused with what Todd is suggesting. However, Todd explains that the boy escaped, so he will tell his allies the location of the camp and they will launch a surprise attack which will wipe out everyone in the camp, killing them. The second Todd and Jamal were baited into the Buddheim jungle with Subaru, that was the obvious outcome. Jamal says that they should warn the people at the camp, but Todd explains that they don't have the time. Jamal says that he's a coward, and of course Todd agrees with Jamal's assessment. However, Todd tells Jamal that he is right and reminds Jamal about what happened to his eye. Upon hearing this, Jamal gets angry but agrees with Todd. Jamal asks Todd about the rest of their group, but Todd tells Jamal that the group didn't listen to him and they all headed back to the Valakian encampment, leaving Todd and Jamal alone. Jamal was a bit downcast that the group gave up on Todd. However, Todd says it's more like he gave up on them, saying that talking to them wouldn't have gotten any results, so he cut the talking down early. With that, Jamal and Todd headed to the city of Guaral, and Todd thought about the black-haired boy and the fact that it was someone that he definitely had to kill. With that, the story ends. Okay, so for my thoughts on the side story, we know Todd's full name, which is Todd Fang, so get ready to remember his surname, which is Fang, just in case there's any other characters which appear which have that name. Todd essentially killed his entire crew. I'm not really sure on why he did it. He said that he cut the talking early because his group wouldn't really believe his suggestions. But there was also the water bottle and the fact that it was tinted red. So maybe Todd was checking if the blood was poisonous, or checking if certain locations of the snake had poison and then was testing it on his men. Because he went back to Jamal and he said to Jamal that the blood won't affect you. so you can leave the blood on your body. So it seems like he was testing something, like checking whether or not the blood was poisonous, or if there were certain parts of the Elgina that was poisonous. I'm not too sure. Let me know what you think. I was kind of confused, but it seems really interesting. Todd literally killed everyone, so he's a bit of a psychopath. But I don't know. I like Todd as a character. It seems like Todd and Jamal is essentially like Pinky in the Brain, where Todd is like the smart, cunning person, and Jamal is like the muscle head. But as long as Jamal listens to Todd, I don't feel like Jamal will ever get backstabbed, especially considering Todd is going out with Jamal's sister. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.